What's up? My name's George. Welcome. This is the first video of this channel. I really want to say thank you. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you stick around because I want to be able to discuss, not just record myself talking about what I think about video game news and video games and stuff like that, but I want to talk about video games with you on the comment section too. And I hope I can build an audience that loves video games just as much as I do. And that's really why I started this channel, because I really want to be able to discuss video games. I've watched so many channels, some channels like Player Essence, Super Metal Dave, Game Explained, Obi-Wan, Joey JCM, just to name a few. And I love Rule of Two review, and I just love the way they talk about video games. I can tell they're so passionate about it, and that really pushed me to want to come on here and start making videos and start discussing video games, because I can talk about it with my buddies, and sometimes talk about it with my wife, and sometimes I just want to get my thoughts out there, and this is like the best option available. And I really want to say thank you again. Thank you for coming and watching this video. So enough of that. Let's go into the first topic. The reason you came to this video, the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Nintendo Switch was announced on Thursday of last week, and at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and I heard about it the night before. I saw a video. I got so hyped. I saw the video. It was like Nintendo Switch being announced tomorrow morning, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" I couldn't wait. And then I found out it was going to be a trailer, 3.5 minute trailer video, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was taken aback because I've never heard of a video game console being announced by a trailer, and I was like, "Whoa, Nintendo, that's a little ballsy," but we'll see. We'll see if it pays off. And my God, it did. That trailer, it has, I think, at this point in time, it has like 16-17 million views. Yeah, people are watching, and people are excited. I sure was, because I had I'm in the military, so that morning at training. And so I couldn't watch it at 7 a.m. And we had a break in training around like noonish. And one of my buddies, he was like, "Oh, let's watch the video." And so we went outside, and we were watching the video, and both of us were mind blown. And the people around us were like, "Oh, what are you watching?" It's like, "Oh, it's the new Nintendo console." And a lot of people, I'm telling you, a lot of people that we showed it to are very excited and they want this console. And so that says a lot. Like Nintendo, hats off to them. They did it. They were able to sell it through that trailer. And when I was watching it, my first thought was, well, Eurogamer was right. It's a hybrid console. It's a mobile and a home console. It was like, come on, like Eurogamer was right. And I was on the same boat as Player Essence and Super Metal Dave. I was for sure. I was like, there's no way it's Eurogamer's right. There's no way it's going to be NVIDIA powered. There's no way it's a hybrid console because of what Nintendo said. And you know what? Yeah, I guess I was wrong. It was, and now that I look at it, all the signs pointed to it, and I'm glad I was wrong, because this is amazing. I can't wait for this console to come out, and I'm excited, to be able to take my console on the go with me. Not only that, because for a lot of us military guys, if I deploy, it's gonna be so easy to take my console with me, just because it's mobile, and I just don't have to take this big box with me and all these games and the cases and everything like that. It's like they're cartridges, so now it's it's a lot easier to take on the go, and that takes me to the concerns that I've heard some people have, and they're valid concerns. I'm not gonna lie, they are, and there's some concerns that I had at first, and after thinking about it, I was like, I haven't seen anybody mention, because they mention the concerns, but they never mention why they're not really concerns. And so the first one I always hear is the battery life. About the whole, well, what about the battery life? A console like this, taking it on the go, using a lot of power, the battery isn't gonna last long. And yeah, that's a very valid concern. And except, it's only a rumor. We don't know the specs. We don't know how the actual battery life is, or how much power this console is going to be pushing. And I really think that the rumor is that it's 3 hours. Now, if it is 3 hours long, I'm going to tell you that's why it's not bad. I don't personally think it's going to be 3 hours. I believe it's going to be at least 5 hours minimal. But I think it's going to be higher, because if you see the Switch in the console, there's vents on it, and obviously there's probably going to be a fan in there, or it's going to be liquid cooling. We don't know. We don't know what Nintendo's going to be doing, but I'm pretty sure they got something planned. But if the battery life is 3 hours, I just want you to think, when's the last time you played a handheld game for 3 hours straight? Exactly. You probably can't think of it. And if you can, then you had the charger with you, right? So with that being said, as adults, and in the trailer they were marketing this towards us, to us older people, and I'm not that old, but to us older people, adults, mid-20s up, and with jobs, and in busy life, and everything. And so if you have a job, you're gonna wake up in the morning, you're not gonna play your console in the morning, and if you do, you're gonna play it on your TV. It's time to go. Most likely you got a car, and if you don't, you got public transportation. So while you're on your bus or on your train on the way to work, however long that takes, let's say it takes an hour max, you get to your job, now you still got 2 hours left of battery. You put it away in your backpack. You're not going to be playing this at work. You work, you get to lunchtime, you eat for 30 minutes, you play for 30 minutes. Now it's still at an hour and a half. You continue working. Now you go home, that's another hour. And when you get home, that's 2.5 hours that you've used on the battery. Now you get home, you dock it, it starts charging. Now, see, the 3 hours, I don't think it's really a big deal or a problem. It's something that is only a problem if you plan on using it for longer than 3 hours. And if you do, you're going to have the charger with you, and you're most likely going to have a place. Like if you're on a plane, then they have chargers in there, ports and stuff. You're going to plug it in, you're going to have it connected the entire time. But that's the thing, they were advertising that you could play this on the plane, and that's why I think the battery life is going to be a lot better than 3 hours, because when are you going to be on a plane for less than 3 hours, unless you're going from state to state, and that's it. But I digress on that point, and that pushes me to the next point, which is because the battery life, people are saying it can't be that big or that strong because you're pushing console level games on it. And so either you have a weaker console, so the battery's stronger, or you have a stronger console, so the battery's weaker. So that's, that pushes to power. Now, people think that this is going to be a weak console. I don't think so. I'm not on that boat. Primarily because it's running on an NVIDIA custom Tegra processor. We don't know what exactly that means. We just know that it's running on a Tegra processor that's customized specifically for this console with GeoForce architecture. Now, if we look at the Tegra, there's a lot of specifications under Tegra. It's not, people are saying, oh, it's a Tegra 1, it's a Tegra 1. But we don't know. We don't know that. It can be a Tegra X1, it could be a Tegra 2, Tegra 4. We really don't know. And even if we look at it, if it's running on a custom Tegra 2, then this is a very powerful console. I don't think it's going to be pushing 4K or anything like that, but I do think that it's going to be pushing 1080p 60 frames per second when it's docked and it's in console mode, because it can. If you look at the Tegra 2, the specs on it, it pushes 1080p at 60 frames, and so there's a possibility that this is going to be a very powerful console, and I think it is. And then when it's on handheld mode, you can have it at 720p, 30 frames per second, maybe still 60, but you can drop it down a little bit, and it'll look amazing still. Because think about it, it's still it's a mobile, so I don't think that's really a concern. But for power, I don't think it's going to be as weak as people think it's going to be. Another concern was, how big is it? Portability and stuff like that. I take my laptop on the go with me. It fits in my backpack. It's a pretty big, it's a MacBook. It's a pretty big MacBook. It's the biggest one they offer. I'm not big into Mac or anything, but it's a 15-inch MacBook, and it's a pretty big one. So the portability, I don't think that's a big of an issue, because I can just throw the Switch in my backpack and take it with me, and that's not going to be a big deal because I can leave my laptop at home. I take it with me because I know playing Steam games on a Mac is a sin, but I got this Mac for free, and it has for a graphics chip, it has an AMD Radeon R9, and I'm pushing 2.5 gigahertz Intel Core i7, so it can run decent games, and most of the games I play on here are like Civilization, stuff like that. So my Mac can handle it, and so I use it for gaming and to watch movies and stuff. And so if I can replace bringing my laptop with me everywhere I go and just bring the Switch with me, the Switch is going to be a lot more portable than bringing my laptop with me. Now, another concern was losing parts. The Joy-Cons, what they're called, the left and right Joy-Con, the controllers on there, they're detachable, and people are saying, oh, well, what if you lose one of them? And to me, it's just like, but how are you going to lose? How if you take them off, if you detach them, it's because you're going to be using them to play. Now, when you're done using them to play, you're going to probably, put the back, attach it back on it and then put it in your backpack. So I don't really see how you can lose them. Now, if you do lose them, then you could go buy them. But that's like have losing something like a stylus on your Galaxy Note or something else like that. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, especially if they're controllers you're not going to detach them unless you're going to use it, and then you're going to have them in your hand the entire time. Now, another concern on here was, or not really a concern, but of the screen. Is it going to be multi-touch? Is it going to be touchscreen or not? Because in the trailer they didn't show anybody using the screen for touchscreen, but obviously it's going to be a touchscreen. The rumor is that it's going to be multi-touch, which is fantastic. I know I was watching a podcast, and then they were saying that one of the guys there, he was saying that how can it be multi-touch? How is that going to work? Because when you dock the Switch, you don't have access to it. So, why would they put multi-touch on it or touch at all if you can't even use it when it's docked? And I have an idea why. It's because you can probably download apps on it, and apps that are only used when it's in the mobile mode. So it's not really for games, it's more for the apps part. And I think they can also, because there's another rumor that I was watching from GameXplain, they reported, and it's about it having an IR pointer that can act as a touch type thing, with you point at the screen and you can touch stuff on the screen, but with the IR on it, basically like a Wiimote type thing without the sensor bar. And see, that can work very well, because there are I've seen many examples of controllers like that working. The PlayStation 4 controller, the DualShock, has something similar to that, and I think it could work on this point, where if a game does use the touch when it's in the mobile mode, then it can use the IR pointer when it's in docking in the console mode. So I don't think that's really a big deal. I don't think Nintendo would alienate the developers from having to make it harder on them to make games. I think they've learned their lesson with the Wii U. And the last concern, the biggest one, was the third-party support. People are worried that the third-party support. Now, to me, I think when they showed that picture of the third-party support, and I clapped, and I was like, what, this Nintendo's got it. They figured it out. And leading up to the announcement with what Bethesda and Rockstar and Ubisoft were saying, and it just, to me, they were basically saying they were very excited for this console. And I think this goes back to the power part, is that I think this is a very powerful console. And until the specs come out, and I could be wrong, but I have a gut feeling that this is going to be a very powerful console, specifically because Take-Two and Bethesda, are excited, and they're one of the people that are pledging support, and they've come out that Skyrim's not confirmed for the Switch. Come on, guys, this is they're saying it because Skyrim comes out this week on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. They don't want people to be like, I'll just wait till the Switch comes out to buy it. They're just making sure people buy it right now. And I bet you in a couple of weeks or in January, they'll announce that Skyrim Remastered is going to be on the Switch. But yeah, Take-Two and Bethesda are pledged support for it. And I bet you, of course, we'll see a 2K game on there, but I bet you we'll see Red Dead Redemption 2 on it. I bet you. I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to come out on the Nintendo Switch. And that will put to rest this whole concern about third-party support. And so I think Nintendo really has something on their hands right here. And I think Nintendo learned from their past mistakes with the Wii and the Wii U, and I think they learned that they got to cater to us, the hardcore gamers. I'm a huge, hardcore Nintendo fan, but I love my third-party games, and I own an Xbox One S, I own a PlayStation 4, and the Uncharted edition, and I play games on all my consoles. I don't own a Wii U anymore. I gave it to my sister a couple years back. I borrowed it so I can play a couple games that recently came out, but I don't own it anymore, specifically because there's no third-party support for it. It kind of died out. I expected more out of it, and I didn't get what I bought, basically paid for. Especially there was no Zelda. I was waiting for that Zelda Wii U game, and now it's coming out on the Switch, so there's no point in me in getting a Wii U now. I'll just get the Nintendo Switch, play Zelda on there. But all in all, I'm excited. I'm very excited for the Nintendo Switch. I know a lot of my buddies are excited, and I think it's going to be a fantastic console. I'll delve deep more into other rumors and stuff like that when the time comes and when the news comes out. But if there's anything you want me to cover about the Nintendo Switch, something that you think hasn't really been covered by someone else, and they're not, willing to cover it, you can comment down below and let me know, and I'll talk about it, because that's what I'm here for. I want to cover other people's point of views, especially since a lot of the times my point of view isn't covered in a lot of the videos I watch, and I love all the people that I watch, but I want to get out my point of view out there too. And I really want to just say thank you for watching this first video. I'm glad you stuck around and watched this entire video. If you did watch this entire video, like one of my other favorite channels say, you are an amazing person. So thank you, and you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.